Hey, Ochi. Hey, Gabriel. Ronald.
Hello, hello.
Hi, Don. Hi, Kimberly. Gabriel. Surely, Gabriel, hata wewe utafungua kamera? Jamani, kuona.
All right, just give me a few minutes.
Thank you. Anyway, as we wait for everyone else to join, can we do our usual round of catching up? Um, Maybe we can start with Ochi. Your locks look really nice. Yeah. If you think you have better locks than Ochi, please put on your camera.
So, actually, this is my first time kwenda kwa salon because they were like free form. So today I went and they did, they brought some order. Now at least now my mom can
Yeah.
sleep at night now. She was worried that I'm about to go into the bush and fight for the next way of independence.
Okay. Yeah. Tough times
Because
in Kenya right now.
I put my parents through a lot with his hair. At least now I look civilized somehow.
So if you came to the lab on Friday, you would have known what we're talking about. And I'm happy you know me, I just thought you were freestyling this thing. I was like, yeah,
I was,
yeah, that's
I was,
oh
but it reaches a point where, it's called the point of no return, yeah. So those
yeah.
things are going crazy. So if I didn't sort that out, I don't know. I mean, yeah. I was struggling to look like the founder of the three clubs.
Yeah.
I was looking more like the founder of the People's Revolution or something.
AKA what becomes. We are not complaining. Yeah.
Crazy.
So I'd like to hear from someone else. Stefan Mugisho. Uh, Let me just Stefan Mugisho, maybe unmute and say hi. Um, Tell us what you're looking forward to. Or just as we did yesterday, anyone can just unmute. Even if you want to compliment or cheese locks, it's okay. Just
Yes, please. I am taking
Cool.
all the compliments. And Rob, do you want to put on your camera, kindly, as well as we wait for the guest? So we'll start in 4 minutes. Yeah, I want Rob to put on his camera.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for someone to unmute.
Indeed.
But yeah,
Unmute and show your camera. You know, guys, it's really important. Like if we see your faces, it helps. You know, it really helps, guys. You should get used to that.
yeah.
All right.
And I think not only just so one thing the reason we keep insisting, it's a huge culture at Web3 clubs to turn on your camera, because a lot of the times you're gonna be working or interacting with guys from literally all over the world, and this is how you form connections. And it also kind of builds your confidence as you start putting your brand out there. So this is like the safe space you get to practice as just a little safe space. As we won't judge. You've seen Ochi and the locks he had. So besides.
Actually,
Good to see.
we judge those who don't put on their cameras. Those are the ones. So we are judging right now. Yeah. Mkainge tu mkijua. Mr. Rob. Is Rob still on the call? Okay, so who is Kuria Ndungu? Mr. Kuria, please present yourself in front of the people and say hello. You know, some of you guys are single and you wonder why you're still single. It's because, well, I'm still single also. But, you know, if no one can see you, then, you know, you're going to remain single. I mean, I'm still single and I can be seen. So you can imagine your odds now with that.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, Mr. Courier.
So I'm Kuri Andong. I'm a second year student at Chuka University. So I've been enjoying the sessions. Been a great time, but for the camera, I don't think I'll be able to switch it on today, but maybe by the next lesson I'll be in a place and in a position to do so. Yeah.
I'm
And I will
guessing
remind you.
I'm guessing we are not worthy, Mr. Ndongo. Maybe in the next session we'll be worthy. Alrighty. So let me see. What's the time now?
Hello.
Mr. Rob, nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
Yes. Welcome to Web3 Club's Cohort 10.
Good to be here. Shall I start with the started, or is it we keep waiting for a bit, or?
Yeah, we're actually good to start. We have a good number.
Okay.
So yeah, kindly introduce yourself, introduce Remix. We also have some very fresh guys to Web3. So not everyone is clear on what a Remix IDE is or what a new Remix, you know.
Okay.
So maybe just take it from the top and then, yeah.
And wait, I might even share my screen a little bit.
Yes.
I forget where you do that. In Zoom.
There's a, hold on. Zoom has the worst UI by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
it should be in more, isn't it? But it's not.
there's a share thing at the bottom. Can you see it? Like an arrow in a box? At the bottom of the...
I see. Oh, yeah, staring right at me. Okay. Yeah. So, let's see. Yeah, so Remix is a tool for developing smart contracts and for deploying smart contracts and for testing them and playing with them. You can even get smart contracts that are already deployed and bring them into Remix and interact with the functions on them. And you can also build front ends for smart contracts. And so there's also a lot of AI integration. In fact, maybe I'll share the screen right now. Because let's see if it's here, this one. Yeah, okay. So I just whipped up this smart contract over here. I put in the AI chat. So now we in this bootcamp series that I'm promoting now, it's a version of Remix that's just coming out, and this version of Remix has some premium models in it, like Sonnet and Opus, and so with that, I put this request, like a workspace for selling electricity back to the grid. I want smart contracts for my electric meter that accounts for electricity going up to the grid and for electricity that I buy from the grid. And I want another smart contract for the grid operator to know how much electricity is getting sent back to customers. And it came up with a couple of good contracts. And then I asked it, like, you can ask in Remix, like, explain the contract. And was it over here? Yeah, oh, here. And it can make this bigger. So it kind of gives a brief overview of what the contract's about. So it's a kind of a good idea. Like you can bring contracts from around, that you find on repos. You can clone repos in Remix. You can bring them in, then you can ask the AI tools, like, what's this all about? You can edit them. You can also audit your smart contracts, which is all in this new version. And the new version is constantly getting updated too. Like, here's some audit checklists. These will look much more beautiful probably by Monday. And you can load skills. So the skills are like procedural things to aid the AI, like the healthcare laws of Kenya, it could, or like how to interact with something very specific and niche. And there's a procedure that's very specific that general AI wouldn't know. And so we have a bunch of these, but you can write your own. And then there's gas optimization, like there are other things like that around. There's a lot of depth to the Remix tool. And you can deploy to a local a blockchain in the browser. There's also a desktop version of Remix. I also wanted to just go into a bit about the let's see, is it over here? Oh my gosh, I was so organized, and then now less so slightly. Okay, yeah. Here. The teams. So basically, like in previous Zero to dApp events that Remix has been part of, like Remix would, like you'd learn how to deploy a smart contract, and then the graph would come in and show you how to make a subgraph. Subgraphs are very important for reading blockchain data because it's fairly easy to write, but it's hard to get, or it's very, very slow to get historical blockchain data. And so the graph is a database that indexes data, and you can set up your own, or you can use an existing one. And so there's going to be presentation by them. So typically then it'll be ENS, which talks about like you're naming your a smart contract address. I mean an Ethereum address. So like instead of some long string of numbers, it would be your name.eth. This URL here is not a string of numbers, it's encodeclub.com. And so that's what ENS is about. And Chainlink has this project called CRE, where you can, Chainlink is a bunch of oracles. If you may or may not know that blockchains are like this kind of sealed network of computers, and to bring in information that is outside of the sealed group of computers, you need an oracle, and Chainlink is an oracle. So like if you wanted to find out like something in your smart contract would get triggered if it didn't rain in your area for a month, or if the price of gasoline went above a certain amount, and you need an oracle to bring that in, and that's what Chainlink does. And Base is the big chain. You probably are working with them, but they're going to do a project on X402, and ZK Verify is all about verifying zero knowledge proofs. And Inscribe is about naming a smart contract. So ENS is about naming an address, and Inscribe is about naming a smart contract. And so all these are going to be giving demos. Each week there are going to be probably 2 talks. It'll be a couple hours. You can get to them. If you miss the event, you can look at the talks, async. And then at the last week, there's going to be a build week. So all the partners are going to have office hours. Also, the IEEE is coming, and they're going to be talking about practical applications of blockchain, beyond DeFi, which is basically, this event is all about non-DeFi use cases for blockchain. And that's why I brought up, was it this one? Got too many versions of Remix open here. Yeah, that's why I brought up this electrical meter one. Like you can, in Remix, like you have an idea. I mean, even if it is DeFi, you can, describe what kind of smart contracts you want, and then it will build a contract, and then you can start developing from there. So just going back here, like I was talking to the people from ZK Verify, and they're going to be talking about either an electric grid, like I think it was what was this? Hold on. Yeah, it's all about proving your smart meter on your solar panel, like how much it's selling back to the grid, and making zero knowledge proofs so that your metering data is proved. But they also had another idea of doing reinsurance, a reinsurance example, which is it's like a way of grouping a whole lot of insurances together. So it's like a zero knowledge, verifying a bunch of zero knowledge proofs at the same time, and doing that off chain or on chain. But it also could be like healthcare, like how to prove that you have some condition, but you don't want to release all your healthcare data to somebody, or it's also like for data sets, privacy of data sets, answering a question about a data set, but not giving all the information about the data set. Okay, so did I confuse you all? Hope not. Let's see, going back over here. Where's the window I brought over here? Gosh. Hold on. Oh, here you are. I'll unshare. I hope I was sharing when that happened.
Yeah, you are. But let me just throw in a question, Rob. Because I know you're in Canada, right?
I'm in the States, but
States, sorry, States. So what's the timing? Are the sessions all the same time, and what time is that, so that we can?
It should be at 9. I think the first one is at 10 in the morning, my time, so that will be 7 hours later, Kenya time. So that would be 5 o'clock in the afternoon, I believe.
Ah, okay, good. So that's just before our classes, and the sessions last for how long?
They would be a couple hours. at the most. So then maybe there'll probably be like an hour or so presentation with questions, and you can also get to these the workshops afterwards and check them out async. And then and the last week's a build week.
Okay.
And there'll be some prizes as well there. And the URL to sign up I sent to you, but I could present it now if you want.
Yeah. Also drop it in the chat. I shared it already. We'll share it on the call now. We'll keep sharing it. So
Okay.
guys,
where did it go?
So guys, we're very fortunate that Remix's program is running parallel to our program, and also we are lucky that there's no conflict of time. And I'm sure the sessions are being recorded, Rob, right?
Oh yes. Here, I'll put it in the chat here. And it's also free. And the other thing, the good thing about it is that we're going to be releasing this paid version of Remix, which includes all these LLMs, but there's going to be, I mean, mostly the paid version is per paying for the LLMs. It doesn't cover our cost really. So afterwards, there's some discounts for continuing to work, but on the using those LLMs. I mean, in Remix, it's you can always use Remix free, you know, even in the future, and also without being logged in. But you know, someone has to pay the cost of the LLMs.
Yeah. Question, Rob. So I'm guessing for the duration of the boot camp, it's going to be free, right? So you guys are covering the cost on the LLMs, and then
yeah.
At which point do you start charging for that?
Probably after the boot camp, some weeks after the boot camp is over. I'm not exactly sure. And then after that, there's some discounts. Pretty significant. It's probably like 2 months free.
Yeah.
You know, for 3 months, it's 2 months free or something like that.
Awesome. So we still haven't secured a partner for IDE AI tokens. So I would urge guys to really jump on the bootcamp, really leverage Remix while it's free. Yeah, I think that's something we can use right now. So I think the link has been shared in the chat. Check the chat, and then we'll also be resharing this link over and over until the 15th. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Rob, let me introduce you to some guys on the call. So the call we have Rosalind Munyiri. You probably know her as Washuka in the group that we have. So she's our chief of staff. Yes. So this is Washuka. We have Dawn. Dawn is our lead AI trainer consultant at Web3 Clubs. And for those who have turned on the cameras, we have Irene, Patrick, Raphael, and Gabriel. Those who don't have the cameras on do not get the pleasure of being introduced to Rob in person. So you see it's already happening, guys. You're losing already. Rob, thank you so much.
Thanks. And yeah,
grateful.
I'd be like to come back and check in with the cohort later in the season.
Yeah, feel free to even host a session. We are happy to reserve a spot. Just hit me up, let me know.
Okay, great.
Yeah. All right.
Well, nice to meet you all.
Yeah. So we're going back to class, Rob. Catch you later.
Bye.
All right. Cheers.
Bye, Rob.
So for those who don't know, Remix is one of the most impactful IDEs in the Ethereum ecosystem. It's a public good, so we call those things public goods. It's been free for the longest time, and now they have iterated a desktop version. It's mostly a browser-based IDE that anyone can just go and start building, testing on Solidity, building on Solidity, and now they've done something on desktop for AI, and so before the official release, they're doing this bootcamp. And yeah, we are very fortunate and grateful for that. So Yeah, Mwalimu, Mr. Don, take it over.
Yeah. Hi guys. So gonna proceed with lesson 3. So we're still how do I say? There's still some theory we need to get through, and then once you're done with that theory, you can start like testing out some of these things. So yeah. So now our main focus, our last session, we were mostly focused on working over how agents work and basically introducing agents. And then additionally also discussed harnesses. So just like, we discussed harnesses, how all these different pieces compose together to provide the experiences you'll find in tools like Cloud Code. So today we're going to be focusing mainly on coding agents, since they're kind of the main, let's say, agentic use cases at the moment, or every other agentic use case kind of spins up from coding agents. So it's also, they form kind of a foundational, like a foundation for like other agentic systems. Right? So one thing we didn't cover in the last lesson. In the last lesson, I introduced tools. I explained what tools are and how they function. There was just one little thing we missed, which is a case where tools live on somebody else's computer. So initially, we had just discussed where tools, the model we're referencing was tools existing within like the same process, like the same like process that gets put together for the agent loop to run. So there's also a case where these tools may exist elsewhere. So that introduces a new concept called an MCP. It still follows the same core concepts of what tools are, and the fact that they just take inputs, they do some work, and then they generate a result. But these MCP tools now enable us to connect to outside providers like GitHub, Notion, your database, even other agents. So we're gonna now discuss the coding agent stack. For me personally, I'm mostly using Cloud Code, but you'll find that so a lot of the examples I'll be giving will be based on Cloud Code. However, you'll find that these examples can get will get repeated across any other coding agent stack you'll use, whether it be like OpenCode, or Anti-Gravity or Casa, because Cloud Code kind of built a lot of these or like Anthropic kind of built a lot of these foundational pieces, and the rest of the industry just adapted to what they had created. Yeah. So, So in the last class, we also I also explained how we are basically building a bunch of wrappers on top of our model, which is the main decision maker. And here I'm just going to introduce you to a bunch of other additional layers that get added as wrappers to a model or the harness. So we have the cloud.md file, or in other agents, it's the agents.md file. So this is basically a bunch of instructions which will be injected as synthetic prompting in every session that you have with the coding agent. And then there's tools and MCPs, which we already covered previously. And then the skills. So skills basically define like specific procedures for
Don't. Sorry to interrupt, but should you be sharing your screen? Are you sharing the screen or?
Hey, I
Did
thought
you
I
intend
was.
to share your screen?
I thought I was. I haven't slept for like 48 hours, so I'm a little not a bit. You guys should have told me like earlier on. Yeah.
I was following and I was concentrating, so in my head I was good.
Yeah, putting all the pieces together. Yeah. So sorry about that. Let's just so this is the page you're on with. Let me just mark. So this was it, like the coding agent stack, and then we're just going over the different pieces that come together to form the coding agent stack. So the cloud.md, which has a bunch of instructions that get like persistently injected as synthetic prompts into the context window. Then we have tools and MCPs, which we have covered before. Then we have skills, and those explaining skills are like plan procedures, like plan procedures that act as instructions to show the agent how to achieve a certain goal. And then we have plugins. So plugins is a new term here. So plugins are basically like a bundle or like a bundle of skills as well as like a bunch of other stuff. These are just meant like in the case where you have like a bunch of skills that are not similar to each other, you can basically bundle them into plugin. And we're gonna see example plugins and how they're useful. So yeah, and the other thing, this is a new term we're introducing here is subagents. So this is as a in order to kind of prevent context window from like running out of I guess prevent the context window from like getting finished. Well, one of the ways in which we can keep it like relatively small is by delegating some of the actions that need to be taken by the coding agent to subagents. So a subagent is just an instance. Just think of it like a instance or like a version of the agent that's running in parallel or like side by side, and they're just the main agent and the sub agent are just in a relationship where the main agent gives the sub agent some work. The sub agent does that work and then reports back to the main agent. And then another thing to introduce is planning. So earlier on we had covered how agent loops function, where you basically give the agent an instruction and then it's just gonna go through the loop and until it's done. But that can be a little the results from that can be like probably sometimes not what you intended. So one good first step to take before initializing or starting the agent loop is to create a plan. So a plan is just gonna define for whatever you're building. So let's say you're building a website, right? So plan will just be you defining what the color scheme is gonna look like, what the fonts are gonna look like, all those important decisions that kind of that you're needed to make before you hand over to the agent to go ahead and execute the task. So yeah. So here, just a little bit more about the cloud.md and the agents.md. So another thing to point out is you'll find that most of the let's say documents or I'm gonna use the word artifacts that get used with these coding agents are always in Markdown, because Markdown is just simply like text and easy for the models to pass and understand. Yeah, so you have the cloud.md, the agents.md. These just define like custom instructions that the agent needs to keep in mind. And yeah, cloud.md for cloud code, agents.md for all the other agents. Yeah. On the right is kind of one of the reasons why we have like we ended up with, or why the decision to create like a cloud.md was made. Earlier on, I did mention like a lot of this is experimentation. So you have new concepts arriving like on a monthly basis and some getting phased out. So something like a cloud MD was created when, let's say this was like, I'm not sure if in the future we're going to call him the father of vibe coding, but Kapati was basically using his agent, and then it was just this thing about having to reiterate the instructions at every point. And instead of doing that, decided to just create like a single file that will always exist within the agent's context. So that's kind of how we arrived at the cloud.md and agents.md. And then skills, which we have covered before. So the way skills look like is actually a folder. So a folder which has the skill.md and then a bunch of instructions. So at this point, I'm gonna show you what a skill looks like. So we're gonna install this skill. So there's this influencer is called Matt Pocock. He usually does like a ton of helpful content around how to use AI models. I'd actually recommend you guys go watch his stuff to kind of understand how to control your coding agents. So we're gonna go ahead and install one of the skills. So before we do that, I'm gonna quickly introduce you to, so there's like a central registry for most of the skills. So it's called skills.sh. So whenever you're looking for skill to do something specific with your agent, this is kind of the place where you go to find it. So the skills.sh site, you can see a lot of different skills. So you can see something like front-end design, and I'm just going to open it. So this front-end design skill, it has like this skill.md file, and then it has a brief description of what it does. So it says this skill guides creation of distinctive production grade front-end interfaces. And you'll find that almost all other skills look the same way. They'll all have this description, and then they're going to more detail about what the skill actually is. And yeah, I'm not sure if you guys have if you guys have like set up Node on your computers or any coding tool. I'm not sure what the other sessions have been covering, so maybe like a comment.
So the assumption is that no one has installed anything. So
Okay.
we'll start from scratch. So down to GitHub, even like I'm setting up GitHubs and assuming this is the first time to touch anything. So we can do that next week, I guess.
Okay. Yeah. So then installation won't be necessary at this point. Can cover that later. But I just wanted to show you what the skill files actually look like. So it's just a bunch of instructions telling the model this is how you're supposed to do different things. And the model will load this into its context. And with this new information, it will kind of steer it in the right direction when it's making decisions around the code it's writing. So there's the front-end design skill. Also for like the framework I'm building, which is Love. There's like a skill here, which defines kind of how you can build coding agents or agents in general, making use of the framework. And you can also define skills for like whatever other use cases you have. It's kind of an open registry. So you can bring in your own skills as well, and people can get to use them. So we've gone through skills. They just give the model knowledge about how to do specific things. And then now there's plugins, which I touched on earlier. So plugins are just a composition of a bunch of skills and also definitions of subagents. So usually when subagents are being initialized, they usually have like a description of let me show you an example actually. So I have a bunch of subagents. So I'm in the terminal, so just bear with me. What I'm typing isn't important. It's just the descriptions you're going to see in a second. Let's see. What's up and include? Yeah, so I have like a library of some of the agents that I've defined for myself, and I'm gonna open one of them. So let's see, I have UI design architects. Let's see if agent. Yeah, so you see it's just a bunch of text that starts with a description, which specifies what the agent is. So use this agent. So this is like an instruction to like the main agent. So subagents are usually like spawned by like a main agent. So this is a description that's being given to the main agent, telling it if you run into a situation and you're looking for subagent, this is what this subagent can do for you. Yeah, so the subagent description, a bunch of examples. Yeah, so it's all just text describing the agent. A lot similar to the skills we just covered. Yeah, and yeah, so those that's what subagents look like. They're just text. The harness itself is the one which is gonna handle the spawning and all that stuff. Yeah, so skills, commands, MCPs, which are just tools, right? Remote tools. And yeah, so I'm gonna show you. So Anthropic has like a really good plugin store, which is useful for a lot of knowledge work. So I'm gonna go to their knowledge work plugin. So it's just a GitHub repository. As Uchil said, maybe we'll cover a little bit about GitHub in the later sessions, but this is just like, how do I say, a bunch of files. Yeah, I guess that's the easiest way to define it, just a bunch of like hosted files. So here you can find a bunch of different plugins from Anthropic. You have things from like bioresearch, design, engineering, finance, and my favorite is marketing. And here it just has like skills specifically for marketing. So if you are doing like some marketing, you can kind of make use of this plugin to achieve or to make it easier for you to do stuff like brand review, campaign planning, competitive brief, content creation, draft content, like all these different pieces that you usually go through when like if you're doing like marketing stuff. Yeah, so there's that. There's also like legal stuff. So again, these are just like text files. So if I open one of these, just a skill.md file, and then it's just a bunch of text. So you start with like the header, which defines the name, the description, and then the rest of the document where it's covering all the details related to that. You can, if you're interested, you can like spend some time reading through it. Though it was written to be read by agents, so counterintuitive. But that's basically what plugins are. Yeah. So I think let me stop here for questions, and then we can proceed after then. So we have 7 questions. Okay, so the guy whose videos I want you to watch, his name is Mark Pocock. Let me see. I also have trouble like writing his name. This is TypeScript. Okay, it used to be like a TypeScript. When there was still coding tutorials, he used to be like a TypeScript guru, but then now he's shifted to AI. but like he has really good videos around stuff like, yeah, like he creates, he has like a repository which has a bunch of skills that have been like starred like tens of thousands of times. So he's like one of the more popular, like I would say, AI influencers. But yeah, you can just as a software engineer who is using these tools, his channel is kind of a good resource to figure out how to, at least if you're just new to this, to figure out how to make use of skills and all those pieces. Yeah. So what was the next question? Okay. How does this UI work? There we go. I think I'll just post the link in the channel and then you guys can look. So how do you use these skills with coding agents or agents like OpenClaw? Okay, so I'm gonna answer how do you use the skills. Yeah. So basically, let's say I'm in a repo. So I'm in a this is like a folder of setup. So let's say maybe this is gonna have like my code and everything. So let's say like touch, full stuff, just, and then the first thing you're gonna do is you have to install the skill. So the prerequisite is actually having Node.js installed and all those pieces. But let's say we're just gonna install the skill. So we're gonna go to skills.sh, and then let me look. What do you wanna use? Gonna use front-end design, and then it has the installation script right here. So we just click copy, and then we're just gonna go to our folder and then paste that in, run it, and then this is gonna install the skill on this folder. There's some options, but I'm gonna specify it just does it on this folder. So here it's just gonna say cloud code, projects, let me just copy to all agents. And proceed with the installation. Okay. Okay. So once I've done that, it basically creates a folder in this just inside. Yeah. So this was the folder we were just working with. So we have our cool stuff.js file, and then now you have these folders with skills. So there's a cloud skills, front-end design, and then you have the skill.md file. So when you're installing, it's just copying over the skill.md file into your code base. And then now I can, when I'm using my coding agent, so in this case it's Cloud, but you'll see the same experience when using Casa or anti-gravity. So I'm just gonna use Cloud. Let me show you. Yeah. Just run that and then say, now you can make use of the skill. So the way you invoke the skill is you prefix it with the skill name with /. So I'm going to say, hey, use front-end design. So it usually auto completes for you. So here, use front-end design to build, I don't know, any ideas? Okay,
we
no
we
ideas.
like a to-do app.
A to-do app. Yeah. Okay. A to-do app.
A to-do app for managing an agent tasks through an MCP. So just the front end for now. Yeah.
What's the MCP gonna be connected to?
So for the MCP, it's something that can run locally using a SQLite, maybe through a Node backend.
Okay. So do we just do the front end and then we can cover the rest later, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So just build a to-do app for managing a bunch of agents. That's it, right? Okay. So yeah, just gonna let it go out and do. So we could babysit it, or we could as you noticed earlier, I set permission mode to bypass permissions. So she's gonna go out and do whatever, unless it has any specific questions. But one of the things you can see here is it's loading the skill. So usually what happens is the system prompt gets there's a addition synthetic prompt, which is basically just the headers of the skill, which is the name and its description. That's what gets sent to the model. And then based on if a user invokes or if the model needs to use a specific skill, it loads out the rest of the skill content like progressively. So you can have sometimes there are even skills which are like can take out the entire context window, and so it has to be loaded in like progressively. That's like pole or like in chunks, basically. Yeah. So it's gonna load the skill. It's gonna. I hope it's not gonna ask me any questions, but based off the skill, it's gonna figure out how to design that front end for us. Yeah. So
A question. So
mhm.
so right now you're using Cloud Code LLM, right? For this.
Yeah.
So now, assuming in this cohort you've got guys who, because Cloud Code I think is $20, right? Okay, you're probably using something more, but the $20 I'm sure is sufficient, right?
Okay, so I don't think the $20 is there anymore. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong. So I can just show you a bunch of different coding agents and how we can achieve the same thing and kind of go through. So
Later,
I'm gonna
later, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now or you wanna do that later? Is that like, I don't know. No, later, right? Yeah. I think so, no?
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Pole.
Okay. So yeah, I think what the agent that's like running right now, building that agent to do up kind of explains what skills are. It just loads in the instructions and then into its context window, and then uses that to kind of drive the decisions it makes around the code it's gonna write. That's the UI, the fonts, buttons, etc. Yeah. So plugins, just imagine them as having a lot more information that these agents can now take or like make use of. So they get loaded in kind of a similar way, though the certain, like let's say for the MCPs specifically, those get initialized in a different way. They're not like dumped in as text. There is like an initialization step that the harness is gonna handle to make sure that they're available within the chart. Yeah. Yeah. So we had been explaining sub-agents earlier. So we have the main agent, and then the main agent can basically spawn. Spawn is like to, what's the word? And I don't want to use the word give birth, but okay, so main agent creates, I guess, creates the sub-agents. And these sub-agents can have like different system prompts that are tuned to achieve a specific goal. So you can have a reviewer sub-agent. So the main agent spawns a reviewer, which is tuned specifically for reviewing whatever the main agent has been working on, a researcher to do a bunch of research, a tester to write tests for what's being built. Yeah, so the main benefit of delegating in this way is it ensures the context window doesn't run out fast. Like the context window of the main agent doesn't run out faster, because what's happening is each of these instances, the main agent has its own context window, reviewer also has its own context window, researcher, SAM, tester, SAM, right? So if sub-agents didn't exist, this would mean that the main agent would have to do all that work, and that would kind of bloat its context window. But because sub-agents exist, it can kind of push out exploratory work, review work to these sub-agents and not have to deplete like its own context window. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, the main context window is kind of the important thing when you're doing like a really long task agentically. So making sure it's conserved is okay. So it created it and then it replaced. So okay, so okay. so I set bypass permission mode to true, right? So the agent just decided to like bring up the page. This is what the task we just gave it to work on the what was it? Build an agent to do app. So it called it orchestra, fleet command. Yeah, and best of that, I just decided to pop it up over here. Yeah, no draggable. Yeah, it's draggable. Yep, it's usable. Anyway, that's not the important part of the lesson. Yeah.
And remember to put that in GitHub and share the link. Could like to extend it.
Yeah, definitely.
It's a good one.
Yeah. So sub-agents protecting the main context window. Then let's now proceed to earlier on I mentioned we usually need to when it's a more complex task. So this task we gave it was just like build a UI, right? But when it's a more complex task, like let's say, I don't know, what do you guys use? I'm gonna close this one for now, since I'm not using it much. I'm gonna change to a different view. So 3, 2, and open it up. Okay, so let's build polymarket, make no mistakes, right? So when you have like a really long prompt like that, you usually need to ensure that the decisions the agent ends up making are all grounded in what you actually want. So that's why it's necessary to do a plan mode first, initiate a plan mode, and then after that, proceed to bypass permissions. So this loads. Okay, so we're gonna say build polymarket. Make no sense. Yeah, then in Cloud Code you can shift tab to cycle through the different modes. So here I've cycled to plan mode. So build polymarket, make no mistakes. So once it goes into plan mode, instead of going out and starting to build directly, what it's gonna do is it's gonna collect all its knowledge around what polymarket is, how it looks like, and then it's gonna present a plan for me to now like accept or deny or whatever. And then once I've accepted it, it's then gonna proceed to build. Yeah, so here it's just gonna go off and think we can come back once it's done. So plan mode, we basically tell the agent to go out and first make a plan before it proceeds with its other work. So without a plan, the agent charges ahead and like can make wrong assumptions as I have said. But with plan mode, especially if it's in an existing code base, the agent first explores what already exists before it begins kind of making decisions on what to change, what code to modify, or to fix bugs. Yeah, so with a plan, some of the characteristics of the output is the smaller diffs. That means smaller changes it makes. That's if it's an existing code base, fewer surprises, and work you can actually review. Though I think a lot of the research that these labs have been doing is basically to get these agents to a point where they can do long-running tasks independently without you needing to specify as much things like a plan or like a spec. So a spec is basically a version of a plan where you're defining in more detail like what the final product is going to look like, right? Like just defining what done looks like for the agent. So that's kind of what our product spec is. Yeah, but I think a lot of the research being done right now is to get these models to be able to act without necessarily needing as much of these like guardrails where you're telling it this has to be done specifically or not. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna let the agent interrogate you. So one of the skills that's I hope I don't mispronounce his name, but Matt Poco came up with is it's called Grill Me. So Grill Me is a skill whereby if you're trying to start out a project, you basically tell the LLM, you tell the agent, hey, this is what I want to build. And then based on what you say, the agent is now gonna start asking you more clarifying questions, giving you recommendations. So let's say the same idea of build me polymarket, but then use the grill me skill. And you'll notice in this case, it's gonna be more interactive and it's gonna ask me, how do you want this specifically? How do you want this specifically? And it uses that kind of to build its final version of the product spec before it proceeds to like start working on the product. So let's go back to, okay, this is what I'm doing. Right? I'm just gonna tab M. Here I'm just accepting. Usually when you're interacting with these agents, I didn't introduce okay, I did mention there's a concept called human in the loop. Human in the loop is where a human's feedback is sought out before the agent continues with a given task. So usually if you specify something very vague like build poly market, it's gonna keep on asking like, these questions to also clarify. I guess it's a version of the grill me skill that I'm gonna show you in a second. So let's see. It is the same repo. I wanna create a new one. Let's duplicate. Let's go. Hope my screen is clear. I'm just gonna initialize it right here since we already know what the skills look like. So I'm gonna initialize the building skill. Let's run. So just use load code for the project. To the results. That's done. Okay. So it's added the green skill. So I'm gonna upload bypass patients. Okay, I'm gonna say build me poly markets. Mistakes. Yeah. So as I said earlier, skills, the way they work is the synthetic prompts which get injected into the context, and they'll basically guide the agent in how it interacts with or how it processes like the task you've given it, right? So it will guide the decisions it's gonna make. So with this screening skill, it's basically gonna start asking me questions, and it will ask those questions together with a bunch of suggestions. And if you go over to the build me skill itself, you'll see that yeah, so interview me, it's just, this is what's been injected into the agent's context window. Interview me relentlessly about every aspect of this plan until we reach a shared understanding. So it's gonna, yeah, once it's ready, it's gonna ask me questions. Empty projects, let me start at the root. Okay. Okay, so Cloud has written up a plan. Yeah, so we have an output plan from the other session. So this is just text describing what Cloud intends to do. So build poly markets, playing money, MVP, context, greenfield build, money model, mechanisms, feature set. So if you're more technical, maybe this may make a lot of sense to you when you're trying to compose, like have the agent like go spin up this stuff. But even for non-technical folks, even though you want to be like reading it, it just helps the model have a clear picture of what it's supposed to achieve. So even if you're non-technical, actually if you're non-technical, then it's even more useful for you to like create a plan before you let the agent go wild and do its stuff. Me personally, I don't use plans, but that's a separate discussion. So yes, and bypass permissions. So if I press this, it's just gonna go eat up all my credits. So since you've already seen what a plan is, I'm gonna stop it for now. Yeah, so plan approved, and then it's gonna start building based off that plan. And usually, after it's a plan has been approved, it usually creates an internal task list of what needs to, like all the different things that need to be executed in sequence. So yeah, before this takes up a bunch of credits, I'm gonna stop it. Yeah, and let's go back to the grid me. So now it's with the grid me skill, it's now gonna start asking me these questions. So what is this build actually for? Yeah, so it's just gonna keep on asking me and then giving me options. So I'm gonna say, so just in the same kind of structure, it's gonna keep iterating until I stop it or until it has a clear picture of what I wanted. Yeah. So one of the suggestions is after you have come to a shared understanding with the agent, that's like a plan of what needs to be built. You generate a product spec. So product spec just defines more solidly what the end result is gonna look like. This is PID to issues. I think for some of these, it's best if you it's better if you're doing it like on your side, or like even just watching Matpokok's videos will probably help you with these ones. But basically what I was gonna show is write PRD. Has he removed the skill? Am I out of internet? Do these have 0 installs? Okay, I'm not sure what's going on, but that's tangential to the first one here. So that was the bring me skill. So here the agent just asked, we answer, right? So basically what was happening on the other screen, and then it builds up a spec.md, and then can go from there and start implementing it. Yeah, so I'm not sure what I'd put in this section. So put for things you can. Oh yeah. So just things you can like pick up on in relation to interacting with these agents. So I think one of them is you'll notice my slides are all done in HTML, and the way I build my slides is I use I use the front end design skill, and then like tell like Cloud Code. I gave Cloud Code like an outline of all the pieces of information I want to cover in like a lesson. And then I give it like the front end design skill. And then the rest, like the color schemes, the text and all that, it's kind of deriving from a bunch of stuff that are already like set specifically like in my chart. So that's this presentation was like done with the front end design skill, but some others you'll interact with or have probably already interacted with is, let's say if you're using cloud on the web, or even ChatGPT, right? And you tell it to generate PowerPoint document. Under the hood, it's actually spinning up like a coding agent kind of, and that coding agent is getting fed these skills so that it can work on your document. So PPTX, that's the PowerPoint presentations and docs. Yeah. And another cool skill, there's one called Remotion. So Remotion is like this React library for rendering animations. Remotion. So they put out this skill of theirs. I think Remotion best practices. It kind of blew up the beginning of the year when a lot of people were just trying out these agents. But basically, you can use this to generate like demo videos for products you're working on. So I think I have an example. Let me just stop sharing for a second and I show you like an example of a video that's like made with Emotion. So just give me a second.
I mean, I can see where the name vibe coding came from. Like it's really feeling so freestyle. It's just like get some skills. It's just yeah, it's an interesting time to do.
Letting the vibes take control.
Yeah, 100%. As you're figuring that out, what do you think about the whole idea around so basically
Yeah.
building and becoming a software developer is basically not the alpha, it's not the edge, right? So how does that look like as you move forward and people are basically deploying, just building their own tools, even just for themselves. I'm never alone even for clients. Like, how do you see that whole looking as a career, as a profession, both building for clients and building for startups?
Yeah, so me personally, I think I decided at the beginning of the year I wouldn't look too far into the future. I just like focus on the now, see what I can like do, like focus on things I can change, not things I can't like control. So yeah, like the industry is like changing a lot, and like for like those of us who have been here for like a lot longer than these tools have existed. I think if you've been here for as long as these tools have existed, like even before the tools existed, you kind of went through this period where um, it was like you're an AI doma, not a doma, but like what's the word? What's the word we used last in the last lesson? Like we didn't believe it would be all that, right? And I guess it's um, there's this thing about so, I'm forgetting the word, but it's just a cycle, I guess. So for me, I'm just focusing on doing what I can right now. Whatever the future holds, down over there.
Yeah, you're not inspiring too much confidence.
Yeah, I don't think there's just have fun. Have fun, experiments. That's the only advice. Have fun and experiments. You'll figure things out along the way. Yeah. So on that sad note, so this is like a video I made with like Remotion. It's kind of like a demo for like a mobile app. I'm giving you guys alpha here. It's gonna be released in a second. Yeah, so this was like done basically by just telling Remotion to make this video, and then it went ahead and added all the animations you see. Yeah, all these animations and stuff. So those are some of the use cases of these skills, or that's how capable these skills are. Because if I didn't have the Remotion best practices skill, this agent wouldn't like understand what I was trying to achieve here. But because I had that skill, it makes it a lot easier to like craft like a product demo like this one. Right?
So, so you didn't upload any images or anything. It knows your app. It went in and did everything. Or how did you
So
achieve this?
there's actually on the right, what's within the mobile frame. That's actually just a recording of the app itself. But the rest of the animations of like this stream moving around and whatever is coming out from the ground, that was kind of all made by a Promotion. Yeah. Okay. So those are one of the skills. So it's pretty useful for like product demos. I think Chizo's played around with it. a bunch. You should also see like his demos with it. They're like really good. Who else? I think Amshel as well. There was like a demo you were showing a while back. Yeah, but these are like pretty useful. That's how useful skills are.
Yeah,
And
no,
also,
I'm thinking,
yeah.
can you make that a requirement as part of the project, the deliveries for guys to use this skill for demos as well?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. Okay. So another issue is when you build stuff with AI, there are a lot of AIisms. I'm gonna open this to the class. This is what the agent came up with. So who can point at an AIism? Like the first thing that you see and you know this was made by an AI, or like it's AI slope, or however way you wanna call it. Yeah. It's open to the class. Let's see.
We're also taking note of engagement and all that. Trust me, there's going to be a reward for this. Okay, let me go. So, I don't know about slop, but
yeah,
there's something about these lines, these borders. I've seen it quite a bit. It's a thing for me.
yeah.
The divs, I don't know. I can just I don't know. Yeah, I don't think I've helped much, but yeah, that's me.
An example is I don't know if you guys can see at the very bottom here where my cursor is that blinking light where it's like all systems nominal. Like if you see that part, it's like that was just AI. So and also sometimes in some of these borders, so like the Safari cover, though the jury is still out. I think it's called my one up. Jury's still out, but those guys walitumia kiasi. Yeah. So sometimes there are also skills that can maybe make sure that these AIisms don't show up. Yeah.
Oh, no, sorry, let me.
Yeah. So there are also skills that the deploy agent on the bottom left. Yeah. None. Okay, I wouldn't have marked that one. But okay, anyway, there's also a bunch of skills that can kind of make it such that these AIisms don't show up in the product you're building. So one of them is there is something called impeccable. Damn, without spell, impeccable. Not sure if it's this one. But it's also like a front-end design skill, which can like greatly improve like the design of your product, and like remove a lot of these AIisms. So yeah, so you can also make use of that skill. So can you edit to customize on already? Yeah. So you can create your own skill. You can just copy the existing skill and then tweak the bits you wanna tweak, and that now becomes your skill. As you notice over here, the method of installation is just through GitHub. So you just point it at a GitHub repo, and then you kind of install it from there. So you could make a modification and then have that hosted on like your GitHub, and you make use of that skill, right? So yeah, you're free to change the skills as you wish. Yeah.
Mr.
So
Bell, how much time do you have to go? How are you
5
looking at it?
minutes. 5 minutes.
Is that enough time? Is that enough time? Or
Yeah,
you want to? Yeah. Okay.
I can speed run. Yeah. So market and lead research. This is what I was showing you guys earlier. The plugins that have skills that can help you with like in marketing, there's like brand design and all those pieces that we developers usually don't like interacting with. But you have like a helpful skill that can like help you do that on your behalf, or even lead research if you wanna reach out to leads. There are a bunch of skills which can help you in how you write those emails, and also in finding the exact people to reach out to. Yeah. So all our lessons we usually have the law. We always cover some aspect of like the law or the stories, the headspace around AI coding. So last lesson, we had NPCs and high agency. Yeah, are you an NPC or are you high agency? So just quickly, yeah, just somebody speak up. Which one are you?
How many do not know what an NPC is? That's a very deep philosophical question you just thrown out there.
Non-playable character.
So an NPC is just, it came from the idea around games. When you play like Grand Theft Auto and you've got the main character and then you've got these other guys who are just walking around the game and they're just fillers. They're just there to fill the space. They don't actually have any role. They don't mean anything. So there's this idea that in this life we live, there's some people who are NPCs, which is a terrible thing to say, but sadly, it's also true. So Don is asking you guys, how many of you feel like you're NPCs? Which I don't know. I don't know how that's supposed to take that.
No, so it's the context. There's context to it. We're discussing like agents and agency, right? So I guess in this the explanation in this case was more of like do you have less agency than like a coding tool, right? So basically that. And it seems like no one's willing to say anything. Guess you're all NPC. That's kind of NPC behavior. if you can like
Wow.
speak out it.
Fine.
Yeah. So okay. So today's law, we're introducing vibe coding and agentic engineering. So vibe coding is just embrace the vibes. Like permission mode, bypass permissions. Just say make no mistakes. See what comes out the other end, right? So that's kind of vibe coding. And then the concept around agentic engineering is trying to bring in these aspects of like software engineering that have existed for like 20 years plus into how we write software with agents. So some of those manifest in like the grading skill, that's kind of requirements gathering. And then before you like start, like for those of you who have done like IT related stuff, like there's that process you go through when working on like a project. So yeah. So vibe coding, agentic engineering, yeah, and some dictionary terms, AI slope, context engineering, YOLO modes, that's dangerously skip permissions, and then the lethal trifecta, where you have private data, is untrusted content, which can lead to prompt injection, and a way to reach the outside world where your agent can end up exfiltrating your data. So I guess to end, I'm not sure if I should introduce, there's a site called Maltbook. So Maltbook is kind of like a social network for AI agents. And here they're just like discussing stuff. So you have like an agent say, what are these agents talking about here? OpenClaw explores a guiding space. No, that's like a sub-mode. Okay. No, not introductions. Okay, let's see how agents are introducing themselves. Agent attention economics and sub-mode patterns.
Is Multibook real? Because I had something around
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
It's real, huh?
Yeah, I think it got acquired by, I'm not sure if Meta is the one to acquired it, but yeah, it's a real thing. You just have these agents which are running their agent loops, and part of the instructions in those agent loops interact with Multbook. And so I'm not sure if they're using the Multbook, if Multbook has an MCP, but it's just, again, all the foundations we've just been covering like throughout all these lessons. You can kind of get an idea about how agents are posting to a social network. Yeah, so that's beside the point. We're trying to discuss AI slow context engineering, little trifecta, where if an agent can talk to a social network and it has access to your data, what if it just, exposes all your data to the world, your private data? So this concludes kind of the onion we've been building from the model to the agent wrapper to the harness wrapper. So this just concludes the harness wrapper with us seeing an example of it functioning. There's still a ton of stuff we have left out, but I think some of those are more secondary to, they're not as foundational. So I think from all these lessons, we have covered all the foundational blocks you need to understand how agents function. So to infinity and beyond.
Nice. Fun fact is I'm actually a dropout of very many of the 3 clubs programs. I feel like I won't drop out of this one. Yeah. Alrighty. Cool. So I think that's it. I like keeping that 1 hour 30 minutes cap. So if we start class at, let's say, 8:10, then ideally class would end at around 40 past, which is good. I think 1.5 is healthy. Anything past that, people start like DMing their friends and stuff like that. So yeah. So I think that's it for Leo. Very exciting. Probably one of my favorite cohorts ever. So catch you guys on the next one. Are there any questions before you? I think I have like 7 minutes. Oh, also, don't put the name of this. Oh, actually, I'll put the name of this. I'll put the YouTube link of the guy, the Paul Book guy. What's his name again? Matt something. Matt Pocock. Let me share the link in the group. Yeah, but guys can ask questions before we leave.
I have a question. Let me take you back to skills. There is a lot of security concerns or warnings when installing skills. So like malicious skills is a thing. So my question is, what are the things that you need to be looking out for when installing skills to just stay safe?
Yeah, so skills.sh actually does like kind of agentic review of all the skills that are posted there. So if I go to skills.sh, there are kind of a bunch of identifiers. So the first ones you see is how many installs does the skill have. So you see this skill has like 2 million installs. That means it's like great of 531K installs. That means like multiple people are using it and trying it out. So for the most part, it's probably safe to use. And then the other things you need to take a look at the security audits. So they usually run security audits on these skills, and you can see Agent Trust Hub. You can click to see more details about this, and also go back. Content design skill. So you can see these details about the skill, like socket, sync. This is just like trying to audits done on the skill itself to make sure that it's so here it's passing all these audits, all these security audits. So you can be guaranteed that it's safe. However, most skills actually have or like fail on like some of these tests. but that doesn't necessarily mean they are bad. It just means if they contain any like scripts that can be executed arbitrarily, then the label here falls to like a warning. Yeah, but there are ways to tell which ones to use. Even better yet, you can just create your own for your own use case. Yeah. Okay, is that it? Good. Let's see one question. Do general agents like OpenFlow help in technical things like software development, etc., or is it for normal tasks like replying to DMs? So these agent harnesses aren't built in the same way that coding agent harnesses are built. So I think the skill set, a lot of the capabilities that coding agents have it's mostly because of how the harness has been constructed. There's the special instructions given for that use case. Though these, like let's say OpenFlow can be extended to like write code and execute code and do whatever. I think it will fall short of, let's say, a dedicated coding agent. And actually, usually, sometimes the things like OpenFlow under the hood, they will just spawn instances of these coding agents, or they just call instances of the coding agents under the hood. If it's like for some of these coding tasks that they may need to achieve. Yeah. Okay. Any more questions?
None. So I'll just remind guys, remember the Remix Bootcamp is starting next week on the 15th. I'll share the link. Please make sure to join those sessions. They're running for 5 weeks. They're an amazing way to give you more of an edge. And as you saw, there's a bunch of partners involved, Base, ENS, and all that. So please, this is like an international bootcamp. So please take part in that as much as possible. All right. Thank you, Mr. Don. Thank you everyone for the questions and engagement. Yeah, so I think that's the last session for this week. We resume next week, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then we'll start our IRL sessions on Saturdays. Now, next week, another to cover fundamentals of blockchain and fundamentals of AI. Thank you, everyone. Have a good evening. Catch you later. Bye.